Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels Video Game Music Podcast. This is episode 7-1. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And thank you for joining us on this wild ride we like to call video game music.
A spectacular journey filled with action, adventure, suspense, sometimes a bit of chaos, always good rhythms.
Always good rhythms. And today's style of rhythms is a two-parter. It's the first part, the first topic. We have two parts of topics. Oh yeah.
We need to clarify something as we lead into this.
Yeah.
This is an interesting episode because Rob and I have both been pretty sick this week, with the only difference now being that I've gotten somewhat better. Rob has too, but he's still fighting it off.
I'm still really out of it.
And he may be on some meds right now. I don't even know.
No, I've had a lot of tea today. I'm trying to minimize the amount of medication on my brain because I've had some really weird experiences where I just got really emotional watching Star Trek.
Well, I mean, Captain Picard has had quite a bit of emotional trauma in his life.
I was watching. He has, dude. Seriously, but no, Voyager. I was watching Voyager.
Well, the Voyagers had a lot of trauma within its life.
They did.
I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah, I got really weirdly emotional. I was like, I miss these people, and Tuvok, and 7 of 9, and Neelix.
Yeah, Neelix.
Neelix.
Poor Neelix.
I love Neelix. Anyway, so we have two parts for the topic. So that this topic, part 1, is called Decadence.
Decadence.
Which you came up with, and then the second part is going to be squalor.
Oh, squalor.
So I took decadence to mean like luxury or like, you know, finding treasure. So I created a set of tracks to tell a story to go along with that.
Whereas in my case, it means a variety of things, but in many respects, it means living a life of luxury, living outside of the means, excessive spendings, the finest food and drink.
I like that. So this is a show of excess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Burn it all. We'll just make more.
I like that. Why don't you excuse me. Why don't you start us off then?
All right then.
Thanks.
I'm going to have trouble choosing a later track, but for now, let's just go with an easy, knowledgeable one. The game is called Advance Wars, Dual Strike, and the topic track is Sasha's theme, a most luxurious tune filled with absolute class. I do believe you'll agree when you hear it.
What system is this one for?
The Nintendo DS.
Sir, if you please.
welcome back. Hopefully you are enjoying that little dose of elegance and splendor. That being in the form of Sasha's theme from the game Advance Wars Dual Strike, written and composed by
Yoshito Hirano and Taishi Senda.
Now, this particular track, as you already heard, is just elegant. I love it.
Yeah, it does have like an elegant sound to it. It was also unexpected. The rhythm of it was unexpected.
Yeah, especially in a war game, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the character fits the theme to a T because she comes from a well-off aristocrat family, so to speak. And her in-game ability even is that she acquires additional funds from whatever city her group occupies. So she gets more money to burn as she plays through the game. And her super ability involves her crashing the market economy of the opposing team's superpower.
Oh my god, that's good. I like that.
I thought it was a very good kickoff to the show and a very fitting example of decadence in the game world, both in sound and character scope.
Yeah, this is great, and this is a great sound from like the Nintendo DS too. It's got very interesting, like that opening lead kind of sounds. I think it's supposed to sound like a flute, but it sounds like a really weird keyboard. It's very cool.
Or like it just does.
Yeah.
Like whistling almost, but it's just so good. Like when I played this game for the first time, as regular listeners of the show, as well as you from hanging out with me long enough,
watching you play this game all the time.
That is true. I typically gravitate towards rock sounds and metal sounds and even frantic sounds, but this is none of those things. And yet I am quite content with having this play on my DS for hours at a time, leading my troops to victory and crashing other people's markets. It's a good jam for a good game, and hopefully it's a good start off.
That's a great start off. All right, so my first track is from a soundtrack which is quickly becoming one of my favorite soundtracks.
Rise Star?
No, okay, well, that already is one of my favorite soundtracks.
Touché.
Also one of my favorite games. This game I still haven't played yet. I probably won't. But so let's say, you're looking for treasure. And so this is the adventure of finding treasure in a sunken ship.
Oh.
This is the sunken ship stage of McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. For the Sega Genesis by the master Katsuhiko Suzuki. This is an amazing soundtrack. So dig this. This is the sunken ship.
I'm intrigued.
From McDonald's Treasureland Adventure.
And in stitches. McDonald's Treasureland.
I know, you don't expect it, but it's awesome. It's so good. You're listening to The Sunken Ship from the game McDonald's Treasureland Adventure for the Sega Genesis by Katsuhiko Suzuki. So yeah, this is the adventure of finding treasure, which is, golden McNuggets and French fries.
Delectable. And chip.
Yes, so this is excess. This is your gluttony.
Oh yeah, you always gotta find more treasure. You're never satisfied with just one discovery.
Oh, I gotta say, I can't get enough of this soundtrack.
There's your gluttony.
Yeah.
More.
This is some like the best of what the Genesis can do, I think.
I will say that
really rich tones, and it's just really clever like melodies.
I will say that when this track started, I definitely broke a monocle to this popping off because I didn't expect this, and I made this comment to you during the listen, which is that I haven't necessarily played the game, so someone out there can surprise us and tell us different, but it drives me nuts when these spectacular tunes always find themselves in mediocre games. Like, most people will never hear it unless you actually go seeking it out, which is like what Rob ended up doing. Is like, I want to find tracks. He did his research, came across this tune, and it's like, thanks to that, we can hear it, because I'm never going to play McDonald's Treasure Hunt. That's just how it is.
I like you keep calling it Treasure Hunt.
Oh, that's the Decadent
McDonald's Big Game Hunter.
Those big, well, let's be honest here. Those hamburgers don't just come from cows. That's immaculate burger meat. Comes from those weird prehistoric
That's
savannah
awful. That's awful.
monster cows.
It's McDonald's Big Game Hunter, and it's just cows in a field. And you have a rifle.
I choose that one. Let's take that one to Bovine University.
The clown is like, "Are you sure? Is that the one? Okay,
That's what I want.
okay, everybody, stand back." This is morbid. This is awful. All right, what's your next track?
Clearly, it's not from McDonald's Big Game Hunter.
I'm done.
Well, I'm going to go with my next track being from another game that is an interesting example of decadence to me. And that game is Mega Man Legends. And the track is called Concerto of Hapsicode. welcome back. I do hope you enjoyed that fantastic piece.
Yeah, where are we like PBS all of a sudden?
Maybe we are.
Welcome back to Masterpiece Video Game Theater.
Yes. This track was called Concerto. I'm going to say it in a words that doesn't screw people over. Concerto of Hapshicode. Hapshi.
I'm wondering, Hapshicode. I'm wondering if they were trying to play on the word harpsichord and code. But does Hapshi have anything to do?
It might have something to do with the game, but I haven't played it in so long that if that's an underlying plot, I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I played the game, and I don't remember liking it a whole lot, but it's been a long time.
Well, before we go too deep into it, the composer for this spectacular tune is Makoto Tomozawa.
Right.
And, like, for me, this game, it's weird to explain because when it came out, it was sort of underrepresented. It just kind of hit the shelf, and I went to the store to buy something completely unrelated, which was Metal Gear Solid, and whoa, what's this weird Mega Man game doing here? I need to buy that too. But it's a 3D platformer, and it featured a Mega Man character that had more personality than any of the other Mega Man iterations that had come prior to that point. And it was a 3D action game, which in and of itself was unique even for Mega Man. It was the first of that. Graphically, not all that great. It looked kind of ugly, in fact. But the characters oozed personality, the dialogue was fun, and the shooting action was fun too. A lot of circle strafing and roller skating, and just a solid good time. Now, as far as the Decadence goes, this goes into another aspect of Decadence I would consider, which is excessive wealth to the point where you spend it to collect objects that do nothing but convey history on your shelf. So the main character of the game is called a digger. Yeah, he goes to the ruins to dig up various artifacts, but they then take to sell to museums and various private investors for finance to further fund their digging adventures. So, to me, that is an excellent portrayal of Decadence and the music in the game, to which there's actually a number of classic renditions in the game, some of which are self-composed for the game, others are either remixes or direct takes from classical music. Like, I know Box Air is in the game. I don't remember where it plays. I think it's in one of the museums in the game that they play Air. But that's a good example of it. But such a good game. Excellent example of Decadence of the highest.
Yeah, knowing that there's a lot of classical type pieces in the game, it's gotten me interested in listening to more of the soundtrack.
I think you'd enjoy it if you did. It's a great OST.
All right, so I'm going to take things back to 16-bit, the 16-bit world, because that's where I feel is the most luxurious place for me.
Oh, I see.
That's all right. So you've gone to the sunken ship, you've collected all the treasure, and you put it into this track. You put it into this track.
Put it into a track.
You put it into the track. This track is the Treasury Room from the game Super Adventure Island 2 for the Super Nintendo by Akihiro Akamatsu, Sachioka Oita, and Shinji Nakaya.
I like that. Take the treasure and you put it in this track.
And you put it into this track. This is the Treasure Room from the game Super Adventure Island 2 for the Super Nintendo by Akihiro Akamatsu, Sachiko Ota and Shinji Nakaya. And yeah, to me, this is like, this is where my money is.
Well, if you're going to be storing money somewhere, you want it to be in a place that's got a nice step and beat to it. You want to walk around your room and feel exhilarated by your collection.
This is saying I don't need a bank. I have a treasury room. And if I need to make a withdrawal, I just step into the treasure room of my house. Yo, Pernell, where's the bathroom? It's just down the hall, past the bedroom, past the treasure room. It's on your right.
Don't pee in my treasure room, darn it. Because if you do, you'll regret it. I don't take kind to treasure room tinklers.
So this to me is like excess slap bass.
Some people
Excess funky organ.
Some people need their finances insured by the United States Treasury. This guy says, "The heck with that! I'm my own insurance, my treasure room."
No, I really got into the soundtrack like a week ago. Like I love all the sampled drums and just how funky it is. It's a really funky soundtrack for. I feel like caveman games, games with cavemen and with like dinosaurs and things like that.
I've actually never played
Funky.
Super Adventure Island.
Super
I've
funky.
heard awesome things about
It's Super Funky Island.
it. Strutting.
Super Funk Island.
Just walk up to the snails and like, get out of my way, fool.
Yeah, I don't think I played the Super Adventure Island either. And this is the second one, so I think there were a few more.
What, they had a sequel to Super Adventure Island?
This is Super Adventure Island 2.
I did not know that. I knew there was 4 regular Adventure Island games. I knew there was New Adventure Island, and I knew there was at least 3 Adventure Islands on the Game Boy.
There's New Adventure Island Neo.
Really?
I'm just messing with you now.
Hey, yeah, you are, because I took you seriously for that one.
There was Adventure Island 64.
Okay, that one I remember seeing pictures of. Never
I've
played it.
also made that one up.
No, I've seen pictures of it. It wasn't in 64 Adventure Island. Like, maybe there wasn't. No, you're right. It wasn't. It was the pictures I'm thinking about are Super Adventure Island 1. Because the way that Higgins' face was looking, that's how I'm thinking about it. Because they tried to make it more like less cartoonish with Super Adventure Island. It looked
weird.
like it was still cartoony because it was a game.
Trying to imagining like that guy with the huge nose and like the crazy eyes.
Well, the original Higgins had that weird, bizarre frown on his face and puffy cheeks, and he just always looked. He stood like he was always kind of running, like just tippy toeing.
Yeah.
And then Super Adventure Island was like he's buffer, and all the art was like he's got this axe and he's ready to go.
Didn't he have like a skateboard?
Yeah, he would get a skateboard. That was definitely more of a carryover from the Wonder Boys series, though, because Higgins had no need for a skateboard. He was macho and always in a weird hurry.
The skateboards are macho. Shut your mouth.
I guess if you're doing like double back indie flips, 360s or some jazz, and man, there's more macho than that. But if you're just kind of kicking and just kind of letting the wind take you places, I don't know.
What's the last track on your set?
Help me out here, 16 or 32.
Oh, I've been hanging on to the 16-bit. So why don't you do the 32?
You sure?
Oh, am I gonna regret this decision?
They're both good tracks. I'm just indecisive as the Dickens right now.
Yeah, go with the 32-bit.
Okay, so in this case, we're going to go with the 32-bit pick, which is from the game Suikoden, and the track is called Gorgeous Scarlet Tecia. welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that spectacular tune from not an underappreciated game, I'm going to say. That track is actually called Gorgeous Scarlaticia from the game Suikoden, the very first Suikoden at that. And I'm not sure who composed. Do you know who composed this one?
There are many composers credited for this game, but I don't know which one is credited for this track.
You know the deal is hit them all.
All right, we have Miki Higashino, Tapi Iwase, Taniguchi Hirofumi, Mayuko Kagashita, and Hiroshi Tanawari.
Yes. So, why Decadence for this particular tune? Well, I haven't played Suikoden in a long time, but the things I do remember specifically about this track is that it plays in the dungeon or level Scarlaticia Castle, which is run by a guy named...
Wait, this plays in the dungeon?
Well, I consider dungeon like game dungeons. Like, this is the place where you go and you fight enemies.
This is very ballroom.
Oh yeah, it plays. The dungeon is called Scarlaticia Castle, and it's like a castle / flower garden that is held by a guy named Milik Oppenheimer, and he is one of the generals that run the overall evil empire of the particular game that we were playing here. And his entire idea is decadence in the form of beauty, at no expense. Any expense, I should say. He wants his castle to be gorgeous, beautiful, art, flowers, the likes, to the point where I believe he got brainwashed by like one of the main villains, which made him evil. And his idea of villainy is to make a beautiful flower poisonous. So he stayed beauty. He kept with the beauty theme, just made it bad beauty.
Just a little poisonous beauty.
Exactly. Beauty to the point of death.
Okay.
But like his entire MO
sounds like an RPG villain.
Yes, and he would actually talk like this. Like, this is before, we
was
were
there
getting...
voice acting in this game?
No, that's what I was going to say. This was prior to when we were getting voice acting in games. But when you look at character art and the text that comes up for the character and their environment that they live in, you can kind of just say, he would sound a little like this. Or even like this. Like, maybe even more like that, actually, now I think about it. Oh, touche. You surely stepped into this one, young man. So I feel like this is a fitting tune for this episode.
No, I do. I feel like all of your tracks have had kind of a very opulent feel to them.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
All right, so my last track is very, very different from this one.
So we've got treasure hunting. We've had treasure storage.
Okay, now this is the spending the money. This is just you spending the money on luxury items and luxury cars.
Yeah.
So I had to pick from this game. I can't believe I haven't thought about it in so long. I used to be obsessed with this game. This is Metropolis Street Racer for the Dreamcast.
Hey.
And so this is you're spending the money and you're going out to party every night. Party. This is the song.
Party all the time.
No,
Eddie Murphy.
This is the song. Well, this is an interesting game in that this was the first game to offer an in-game soundtrack in the form of a radio with like a radio station with radio DJs playing in between songs.
So did they take music from like popular culture and throw it in the game?
No, they recorded music for the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the style of pop tunes. So the music was composed by Richard Jacques, who a very famous composer for Sega, doing a lot of the Sonic games. And this is featuring MC Momo, who sounds remarkably like Will Smith. This is the song Let's Get It On Tonight.
Hey, hey!
So enjoy.
Ha! What? Ha! Ha! Come on! Woo! Just cruising. Ha 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 ha! Yeah! Ha! Let's get it on tonight. Alright? When it goes a little something like this. Well, excuse me, sorry, but I didn't mean to trouble you. I was just cruising along in my BMW. When I saw you driving by, you caught my eye, and then I thought, why are you on your own, all alone? Talking with someone on the end of a phone. Is there another guy just waiting for you to get home? Ha! Girl, I should have known. So what's the deal between you and me? Can we get together, watch TV? I know there's a place that you'd rather be, where the money means nothing and the drinks are free. Let me take you there, no need to be aware. Did I tell you I'm a millionaire? Forget about him, I'll treat you right. Let me turn out the light, and we can get it on tonight. Ha! Come on, yeah, let's get it on tonight. Well, alright, yeah, know what I said? Woo! It's like that, it's like that. All night, baby, come on. So you followed my car along the freeway. I gave you plenty of room, lots of leeway. We drove for a while, not more than a mile. Keeping in touch, talking on the mobile. The clock read 10 when we got to my mansion. The only thing that I could think about was expansion. We went into the kitchen and I poured some wine. And I thought to myself, ha ha, girl, you're mine. I told you to undress me, caress me, tried to impress me, but just don't possess me. Do what you wanna do, anything you want to. That feels good, please continue. Forget about him, now he's out of sight. Hey, it's me, I'll make it alright. So come on, why don't you turn out the light and let's get it on tonight. Come on, huh? Say what, say what? Let's get it on tonight. Come on, woo! Let me hear it. Yeah. Let's get it on tonight. Now come on. Verse 3. Early the following morning, the day was dawning. I got up yawning, saw you lying in my bed, scratching your head. And then you said to me,
where are you going, honey?
To make some money, I replied. What's so funny? You looked at me with the smile on your face like you wanted something, another embrace. So I paused for a minute to say goodbye. I really didn't want to make you cry. I left for work about 9:30. Forgot about what I'd left behind. The day was okay, kinda lazy, hazy. But when I got home, you really amazed me. I got through the door into my shared delight. You were still in bed. Hell, let's get it on tonight. Let's get it on tonight. Yeah. Come on now. Let's get it on tonight. Let me hear it. Yeah. Let's get it on tonight. Say what? Come on now. Let's get it on tonight. Let's get it on tonight. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Let's get it on tonight. Well, alright. Yeah, no one.
So that was, yeah. Woohoo. Let's get it on tonight. From the game Metropolis Street Racer for the Sega Genesis.
Now that track was Sega Genesis?
I'm sorry, Sega Dreamcast.
Like, man, technology. Woo! Wow!
Oh, woo! Yeah, for the Sega Dreamcast by Richard Jacques featuring MC Momo. So the very Japanese Will Smith.
See, that was an awesome track. See, I like the idea of, you go home with your best girl, you sit down, pour yourselves a nice pair of glasses of wine, drink a bit, discuss a bit, and then an entire long action-filled night of Sega Dreamcast game playing.
Yeah,
action.
Come on, I see you driving in your car. Let's go home, play some Sonic Adventure.
Tonight. That's what's up, see?
So this game was really unique in that, one, it had the soundtrack that had like DJs in the background. So like it would be like, now coming to you from number 5 on the top charts, it's Let's Get It On Tonight by MC Momo.
I love it.
But it only had like 30 or some songs on it, so it would just keep repeating the same songs over and over depending on where you were in the game.
But I'm guessing different stations had a specific set of those 30 songs that would play, right?
Right. So like in one set, I think this played like in the New York area, you only had like 4 or 5 songs.
Oh, okay.
And then like in the London area, it had like a certain set of songs. They all had like their own style. What was really cool about Metropolis Street Racer was that instead of like the other games, like Gran Turismo, where you had to like finish races to earn money to unlock tracks and unlock cars, this game you had to finish well.
So it's like a style point?
Yeah, it was called kudos. And so by performing like really good drifts and by steering on the apex of turns really well and by accelerating and doing everything just right, you earned kudos points.
So not only did you have the money to buy extravagant cars with extravagant parts, but it wasn't even about necessarily racing the cars. It was just being outright reckless with the fashionista style of performance.
Yeah, it was all about like getting like the fancy cars and like driving them like really flashy. It's a really fun game. I spent a lot of time with this one.
I like the sound of that, actually.
It's very, very unique.
Exquisite levels of decadence.
And of course the soundtrack is ridiculous. There's a lot of songs like this in the game.
See, between this and like Grand Theft Auto 1, like I wish I could think of other games that had game-only radio stations, because that could be a theme in and of itself, like just game radio.
Yeah, game radio. I think there's some other racing games. I think Forza has its own like radio stations.
Like with its own game music composed for the stations.
Oh no! They're all like licensed stuff. Like people like record labels have licensed their music to put into those stations in the game.
Because that would be the challenging part, because like, for example, Grand Theft Auto post like 2 use licensed songs for all their stations, with the occasional unique track. Though looking back on it, I could have been wrong about the ones that I thought were specific for the game. They might have actually been real music. But GTA 1 for sure, just like how this game was.
GTA 1 for the PlayStation, the overhead. It's been a long time since I played that.
Yeah, even before that was on PC. Like it came out because I remember buying it on PC. I had all the fold out maps and everything.
Because those are the only ones I've actually ever really played.
Which is good, because those to me were the best ones.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Because we used to do like multiplayer death matches.
Oh, cool!
Where we set up blockades with cars and shoot a rocket launcher into down the street.
Yeah, I like that it was overhead. It was like a satellite view of like following a criminal around town.
They actually did a throwback to that later, though I'm not sure how successful the game was. But Chinatown Wars.
Yes, I did hear about that. That was for one of the handhelds, right?
Yeah, DS, and I think it eventually got a PSP port.
Yeah, I don't know how well that did, but I remember seeing that and being like, hey, that's pretty cool that they went ahead and did that.
Yeah, but it should have been for a while.
But this game is not about stealing cars. This game is about spending the money.
Oh yeah, if you were stealing the cars, it's not decadent about that. That would be an episode called wanton thievery.
This is just thievery. We're stealing the music.
But overall, I think this was a solid example. And now, like I said, I think I am going to do some research if I can think of other games that had solely game-composed music for radio. Because that could be an awesome theme for
that would be a really good idea, yeah. So now is the time for the bonus round.
Oh, bonus round.
The bonus round is the part of the show in which we play covers and remixes based on today's theme. Today's theme is decadence, extravagance.
Yes.
Making the money, or spending the money, or just having money.
I want enough money to
having it all.
Yes, and then sleeping on it.
We're just gonna have it all. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what did you bring today? I'm having a hard time. So what did you bring, Pernell?
Well, through the discussions with a specific, Mr. Matthew Waldron,
all right,
he reminded me of a game that I keep forgetting for some odd reason, which is Shovel Knight. And there was a particular night. There was 2 nights that could have fit the theme: King's Night and Treasure Night.
Yeah, I was going to say Treasure Night, straight up.
But honestly, for an episode of Decadence, I could not avoid going with King Knight. That man has a swagger that beats all swagger and a castle that is opulent of the highest. His theme in the game is actually called the Decadent Dandy. It's just
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
But unfortunately, Decadent Dandy isn't the better tune of the two. It's actually the stage's theme, which is the Halls of the Usurper. And I actually happened to come across a guy who took a crack at it on his piano. And he goes by the name just specifically Christopher Reiska. I may be mispronouncing it, but the spelling will confirm it for others. So he took a take at it on the piano for the Halls of the Usurper stage, and I figured it'd be a good idea to play it on the show.
Oh, let's check it out.
Hi. So you just listened to In the Halls of the Usurper, done on piano by a man that goes by the name of Christopher Reiska. I honestly enjoyed this quite a bit. I've come across rock remixes of this and metal remixes of this, and don't get me wrong, they're good remixes, but we're going for Decadence here. And to me, given the theme of the character and the 8-bit sound that came with it, I feel like piano or orchestra is the way to go if you want to get a remix that does it justice in the theme of the character. And I feel like this did a good job of that. And the guy said this is only like his first. It was like him just kind of going on the fly with it. So technically, he probably does better if he actually sits down and works on it and tweaks it. This is just him just kind of doing it on the fly, and it was awesome. So I feel as though this was definitely worthy of putting on the show, and I hope enough people enjoy it to go give some of his other stuff a listen.
Yeah, it was a really nice interpretation. It was nice to hear a piano version of that when there is a lot of like rock and metal like versions of the music. Mm-hmm. All right, so my track is going to a classic. This is from Super Castlevania 4, the Treasure Room.
Treasure.
Going all about the treasure this week. This is called The Harbinger of Death by Timmouse 222. Very, very catchy name.
Yes. What are you doing?
You were listening to The Harbinger of Death, which is the Treasure Room theme from Super Castlevania 4 by Timmouse222.
Lots of twos in that 222.
Lots of twos for Timmy.
I like that. It definitely threw me off quite a bit. Like Treasure Room, like, okay, I'm expecting like some kind of like, I don't know, a track that kind of inspires you. Like, I have wealth. This room is just littered with money all around. Ended up being good, but unexpected, though, for the theme. But for Castlevania, it was very fitting and good.
Everything in this game is dangerous. So it's like, it's a treasure room, but it could be trapped. There could be Draculas in there.
The treasure is cursed.
For more information on the artists focused on today's bonus round part of the show, check out the website, rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to their bios, band camps, and everywhere else you can get their music. Thank you for joining us this week on the Rhythm and Pixels video game music podcast. Our focus on all things decadent and yummy.
Yes, it was a delightful time spent with good friends and good jams.
This
as you say.
Was a delight.
Yes. I only wish I had tea to drink as we recorded it.
Oh, we should have had a tea party while we did this.
Coffee is semi-decadent, just like it's the ruffian's tea.
Maybe like really fancy coffee with an umbrella in it.
What?
So rain does. If it's raining, your coffee doesn't get wet. I can't think of anything more decadent.
I guess, yes. Just nothing says decadent like drinking coffee in the rain.
So
I'm just picturing like a bunch of people in flowery dresses standing out in a monsoon with coffee.
like little umbrellas in them.
Yeah, they're wet, but the coffee's fine.
Yeah. We're protecting what's important.
That's right. The beans.
The beans. If you want to contact us, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you'd like a full track listing or for more information about the show, go to the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And if you want to check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, all at Rhythm and Pixels. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. My throat is done for the night.
Hey, all good. Sometimes we got to shut this thing down.
Yeah, but thanks again. Join us next week for Squalor. Join us next week for Everything is Taken Away from You.
You spent your entire tax refund on lavish drinks and fast cars that you cannot afford. The episode.
The end. The end of podcasts. The end of podcasting forever.
Because we're too broke to afford the equipment.
All right, I'm done. This has been the Rhythm and Pixels video game music podcast. I am Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Have a great week.
And remember, decadence is spectacular if you're so fortunate to have access to it. But you really don't need it. I mean, we live in a world where it's all about acquiring more and more and more, and that's what makes us happy. But it could just as well be about the experience, the friendships, the bonds, the ridiculousness of life itself. Just enjoy your time. Eat food when you can afford it. Sleep in a bed when you can afford it. Just be happy for what you've got while taking in the occasional good times that you meet up with along the way. To me, that's real decadence. And we're all fortunate enough to be able to experience it if we're so fortunate.